So, yeah, that like 3 minutes before. All right, welcome back to The Horror with Mike.
And Nate.
On this episode, we're going to be giving you the lowdown on the new season of True Detective.
The new incarnation of True Detective.
True. Very true.
Know, season 2, following in the footsteps of American Horror Story, taking the season-long anthology approach.
Right. This is going to be 8 episodes too, right?
Yes, eight episodes is my understanding.
Every week, right?
Yes.
Okay, right on.
For the next 7 weeks from now.
That's worth the commitment to it. I can do that.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it this week, but I am going to. This is going to be a weekly thing.
Well, and it's such a case of... I'm holding back on a lot of criticism, judgment, and praise because it's such big shoes to fill. Season 1 casts such a long shadow, and I believe that's because the three most important components of a movie or TV show, whatever, you have directing, you have writing, and you have acting. This was the perfect storm. All of them were just in perfect harmony, creating this one of a kind. It was lightning in a bottle.
Yeah, Woody Harrelson hasn't even been better in Natural Born Killers.
Both of them, the leads.
Well,
were just
of course, Matthew
phenomenal.
McConaughey hasn't been better.
But
the writer does return.
Yes,
but that's the only aspect.
That's the one. That's the one connecting thread between the two seasons is the creative voice of the show, the writer,
right?
And showrunner. So it's all on his shoulders,
right?
Now, in order to sort of sidestep this long shadow, the second season, different place, different time, different story structure so far. It does have a lot of that same True Detective atmosphere, but you could tell he tried to change it up as Nick Pazzaluto.
Okay, I didn't know how to say that name, so good.
This is the creator, and he's trying to avoid these comparisons by telling a different story, and I respect him for that.
Sure.
But that said, even not comparing it to the first season,
right.
as far as this is essentially a pilot.
Right.
You assemble the main characters, you introduce everybody, and then you have a crime that brings them all together.
Right.
There are 4 main characters this time, and for 1 hour of television, there's too much backstory. Because they're trying to establish 4, they try to cram a lot in there. It never manages to be exciting, but it just... Any one of the 4 characters would have benefited with more time.
Sure.
I'm thinking... I'm sure that the man has a long-term plan. And this is all for a reason.
Right.
But... It was a lot, and of those 4...
Well, that's the other thing that is cool, truthfully, is like, he earns a return, even though the best, quote-unquote, aspects of the show were gone. The writing was so good, he earns a pass on that. And the other thing is like, anything he does, like, until the last episode is over, he's still, maybe, who knows, maybe it could be so, whatever, that you give up. But, like, he earned so much good faith with 1 that, you kind of have to good faith him.
And the pilot was good enough that even without that good faith...
Oh, okay, cool.
I'm going to check... I would check out episode 2, just because I feel like there's some real potential there.
Right on.
2 major issues with the first episode would be... No spoilers, but the crime, you knew there was going to be a murder that sets the stage for what they have to investigate.
Right.
Lacked 1 iota of the impact from season 1. When they found that body, when they found the girl with the horns posed like that, it felt important. It felt like this is a crime that needs to be solved.
Right.
And you could see how these men would be driven to solve this crime.
Right.
The crime in season 2... Okay, maybe it's going to go somewhere interesting. It's the last thing you see. It ends the episode. It lacks any sort of punch, so it sort of ends on a squeak. And then of the
Taylor Kitsch's death.
No. I'm about to
Because
say,
remember, I had that bet that he would die in the first episode.
I'm really hoping that you win that bet
I fucking do too.
because
okay,
he dragged down the first episode.
Of fucking course he would. I was hoping that.
But you know what? His character isn't that interesting, but a better actor might have made something of it.
Right.
In this first episode, Taylor Kitsch is flat, and I didn't give a shit about him at all.
No.
And I sort of got mad at the show for focusing so many minutes on this guy when there were more interesting characters. Now, the reason I'm coming back for episode 2 is Colin Farrell, phenomenal.
Really awesome.
So good. He's got like a great character type that I like anyway, like the bad cop who isn't evil, he's just drunk and a loser, and he's got all these skeletons in his closet. And Colin Farrell seems to be building this guy from the ground up. The way he drinks himself to sleep, the way this could be the flashy role. Oh, I'm the bad cop. I'll do whatever. I'll break what.
Right.
There are whole shows based around this type of character.
Right.
He's not playing for flash. He's playing for pathetic. This guy's he's dangerous. He's a dangerous cop. He will bend the rules. But he doesn't come across like a badass. He comes across like a sad sack.
Cool.
And his performance is great, and the character is so far the most interesting part of True Detective.
Oh, damn it. Because I was hoping, again, my other bet about it was that Vince Vaughn was going to be the revelation.
He's not a revelation in episode 1. He is good.
Oh, and good. Because we talked about he did Norman Bates.
Yeah.
Thankless role, but still, I know he could.
He's very dialed back. There's no smarminess to him at all.
Right.
He's doing very well, and I could see him blowing up later in the season. The way the show is so deliberately laid out.
Right.
I'm sure it could build some big stuff for him. So far, and nothing against Rachel McAdams. She was just, so far, her character was ho-hum. If the whole show was just Colin Farrell and Vince Vaughn, I'd be super psyched for the rest of the season.
That's the thing, is maybe there's something about that, because it was very intriguing, those two, and then the other ones were so milquetoast.
Yeah.
It was Rachel McAdams is better than Taylor Kitsch, but she's one of those people who's she's good, but she's whatever. She's good, but ew. So it's I don't know. It all seems like it's set up in such a strange way. Really good choices mixed with really strange choices. All this kind of stuff, and we'll see.
I will say that this first episode, even though it's a different place, a different time, and different
LA,
people,
right?
Yes, okay. It is not in LA, but it's in Southern California somewhere.
Okay,
more
right.
on the outskirts.
Okay.
It did feel like True Detective. It had the same, vibe to it. So that's good.
A lot of dead stuff. Abandoned, rundown.
It's more catered to this new area. But that's all I can. That's all I can. The best I can really cast it into words is it feels like you're watching True Detective.
Okay, right on.
So there you go. There are some positives, some big positives, a couple of negatives that may end up shaking out. The jury is definitely still out on season 2, but the first episode was worth checking out.
Right on. And if you haven't seen the first season, if you're that one person, check that shit out. 8 episodes. Make sure you have 8 hours set aside, because you'll watch that shit straight through.
It is like a very, very long movie, and not like a show.
Although, if there is somebody out there listening who hasn't seen 1, maybe start watching 2, because we'd like to hear your feedback on what 2's like without having been overshadowed by 1.
Without having any expectation. Yeah. That's
And so just let us know. Anybody else fire back? You can hit us up on Twitter at FrightFlix with a CKS.
Or at Nateflix, and that's with an X. And you can also find us on Facebook.
Yes. And that will wrap us up this week. We will come back to you next week with episode 2 of 8 of True Detective. See you later, guys.